Today we're going to be making some baby moccasins. I printed out the pattern from Darling Diapers Unlimited, and these are the 3 pieces of the pattern, and I've already gone ahead and cut them all out. The monsters are going to be the top part of the toe, and this will be the inner lining. I didn't have enough of the monsters left, so I've got this random red fleece. That's going to be the back heel, and this is the lining, and the inside is going to be this coordinating yellow. And I've got this little dotty fabric that I got at Joann's and the utility fabrics for the non-skid bottom. You just cut out 2 pieces of each of the pattern. The only thing you have to think about is the foot. You cut out one going right way up, and then you got to flip it over to get the other shoe. Otherwise you're going to have 2 lefties or 2 righties. Now I am going to just cut a little slit on the lining so that I have a place to put my hidden elastic. So right where these 2 little marks are, you're just going to cut 2 little slits, but only in the inner lining, not the outer. Okay, I'm going to start with my 2 toe pieces, and I am going to put them right sides together. And I am going to just stitch just along this top curve, not all the way around, just along the curve with the right sides together. Okay, trim off if you got a lot of excess. So that it doesn't get too bulky. And we are going to flip this over so that the nice side is out. And we're going to go ahead and do the top stitching now. Just along that exact same curve we just did. Okay. Repeat the same process with the other shoe. Next, we're going to be dealing with the heel pieces. You are going to lay them out together. And you are going to fold this over to create a casing. You just line up this top corner with the bottom corner of this straight edge right here. And you're going to create a casing. This is where the elastic is going to go in the back. Okay, if you want a pin, go for it. These are just quick slippers for my son, so I'm not too worried about them being perfect. So I'm just going to get it up on my machine. Fold it over. Now, I got a little off-centered here, so I'm just going to clip the whole chunk off. Even it up. These don't have to be perfect. Now, it's either a blessing or a curse that I'm using fabric with lines, because you can see that my stitch is not perfectly aligned, but that's all right. Okay, now we get to use our bottom pieces. Line them up. That's the way. And you are going to pretend that this is one piece. So forget that it's two pieces and just pretend that it's all one. And pick one of your toe pieces. Doesn't really matter which one. And we're going to do everything with the wrong sides together. So I've got my little dotty fabric facing up, and I'm going to pick a toe, doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to put the nice side down. Find the center of your toe and line that up with the pointy side of the shoe and pin. Not usually much of a pinning person, but this is probably one that you do want to pin. And now work outward from the center and just kind of rearrange and move around the toe piece so that it fits in with that bottom piece. One side's going to line up real easily, the other side's going to need a lot of finagling, because that's how we create, you can see the shape kind of starting to take form. Okay, set that aside and do the same thing. Put the two bottom pieces together, flip it so that your dotties are facing up. Find the center of your toe and line that up with the pointiest part. And just move the pieces around, working from the middle to the outside. Okay, now that we've got these pinned, we are going to sew. If you have a serger, this is a great time to go ahead and use your serger so that you don't have to do any trimming afterwards. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't have a serger, then you just sew it and trim off the extra. So let me come over to my serger here. Okay, so there's the basic outline of my shoe. I'm going to grab the other one and do that one. Okay, now I'm finished serging my two toe pieces on. I am going to move on to the heel piece, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do it the right side facing in. I am going to find the center and just kind of line that up with the center of my heel piece. And I'm going to pin that. And then I will very carefully and you definitely want your piece to overlap where the toe is. You definitely want some overlapping. And I'm going to do it again with this piece. I don't pin the whole back down because as long as I know my starting point, I can take it from there. If you want to pin the whole thing down, you can. It's kind of tricky. But just find the middle, line that up with the middle of the back. Okay, if you have a serger, go for it. If you don't, then just go back to your sewing machine. And I'm just going to continue right where I left off. This curve at the back gets kind of tricky, so you just have to go real slow. Okay. Now I am going to flip this out to make sure that I got everything tucked in. There's a lot of layers, so you want to make sure you don't miss any, because if you missed a layer, then you got to go back and redo it. And I'm going to do the other one. But here is the basic shoe, just inside out. Okay, so we've finished serging or sewing the fronts and the back to our shoes, and the whole thing is inside out right now. But we still have one more thing. We're going to add the elastic to hold all this business closed. One fault with this pattern is that it does not tell you how much elastic to use. So I just kind of have guesstimated. So far I have made 12 to 18 month size shoes, and I used 7 inches of elastic, and that worked pretty good. This time I'm making size 2T shoes, and I'm using 8 inches of elastic. So, you know, just kind of go from there, I guess, or measure your kid's foot. Stick a safety pin through one side of the elastic. And, oops, we're going to need a second safety pin. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I forgot that we needed 2 safety pins for this because we need to pin the elastic in place. Otherwise, we're going to lose it inside. So just pin one side of the elastic to the shoe itself, and then you've got your other one that you are going to thread through. It's a little tricky because you've got 2 layers to go through, but you're just kind of going to bunch and feed. Okay, I'm getting there. And see, this is where I'm glad I pinned my elastic, because otherwise it would have gone inside and I would have lost my end. Okay, I got it. I'm going to pull, and then I'm going to feed it through this hole here. Now here comes the tricky part. You're going to go to your machine. You are going to unpin oh goodness. So you've got your 2 pieces of elastic, and pull it real tight so that you got lots of space. Lay one right on top of the other like this, and you're going to have to sew them together. Be careful so you're not sewing the actual clip. Okay, now we can remove our pins. Trim off the extra string. Trim off the extra elastic. And then I like to just kind of rotate it so that my elastic seam is towards the back. And there, now we got a nice elastic. And you can flip this bad boy over because you are done. So, let me flip the whole shoe inside out, or right side out here. Okay, so here's our finished product of the first one. I am going to repeat the same process. Yeah, I think 8 inches works pretty well for that 2T. So I'm guessing that each size in between would be a 1/2 inch difference. So if I used 8 inches for 2T for the 18 to 24 month, you would use 7.5 inches, and so on and so forth. Okay, we're going to repeat. Put the safety pin attached to the shoe. Put the other safety pin through the end of the elastic. Feed it through. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out, thread it through my little holes, and then I can unpin this one, pull them real tight. Lay one on top of the other. Whoops. And mow through them on your machine. Okay, just kind of rotate the elastic a bit. There we go. That's our finished pair of shoes. Congratulations.